Every Spider-Man movie sucks. Yeah, that's right. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland. All of them. They all suck. Especially Far From Home. I'm sorry, I just the more I watch that movie, the worse it gets. I mean, this man let his identity get leaked to the whole world. Like, who does that? You know what he needed? He needed a VPN. Which brings us on to today's sponsor, Atlas VPN. Atlas at the moment has the best deal in the market. They currently released a summer deal and it's absolutely awesome. You get their premium service of ads and malware blockage, data protection on as many devices as you like, and keeping your Google searches private, all for $1.83 per month, with 3 extra months on top for absolutely nothing. Not to mention, if you're on holiday or you're abroad and you've got some downtime and you feel like watching a couple of episodes of Spectacular Spider-Man, but they ain't available on that country's streaming services, well, Atlas got you covered on that too. Just change your location back to home and bing bang boom, Ben's your uncle. Personally, I've always actually wanted to invest in a VPN, but I've always found that they're really expensive, but that's where Atlas really does shine. So if you don't want to be like Peter Parker and have your whole identity leaked to the world, or you just want to catch up on your favorite show for a ridiculously cheap price, Atlas VPN is for you. But be quick, their summer deal runs out soon. So check the link in the description to gain your discounted price for Atlas's premium services today. You will not regret it. Anyways, let's get on to why all Spider-Man movies suck. So as you guys probably know, Spider-Man has had his fair share of adaptations throughout the years. He has had movies, he has had shows, and he has had video games. It's fair to say that Spider-Man has been doing the rounds in media ever since his creation. But after just rewatching Spectacular Spider-Man for like the millionth time, and also after seeing my fair share of Spider-Man movies over the years, I've come to the conclusion that I personally think that the shows are fundamentally better than the movies. And honestly, the shows put all of the movies to absolute shame. Now, this goes without saying, TV shows are generally better for storytelling when it comes to movies. And that is obviously because television shows typically have more screen time than films, spanning over multiple episodes, which could range from 20 minutes to an hour long, which means more narrative and character development over the entire show, whereas a movie has a 2 to 3 hour runtime, which means you can't do nearly as much in a film. However, I think this is particularly evident when it comes to Spider-Man. Spider-Man is such a particular character, and his side characters and the way that they are handled are detrimental to the character himself, because the side characters are a big part of what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. One of the biggest tropes when it comes to developing Peter Parker as a character is the hardships of being Spider-Man and balancing Spider-Man with his personal life. Now, his personal responsibilities are obviously what clashes with being Spider-Man. Now, when it comes to making a film, trying to develop multiple in-depth protagonists or antagonists at once never bodes well. As we saw with Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2, they are prime examples of Spider-Man films that try to set up, develop, and drive too many characters into its narrative. However, in my opinion, Spider-Man is at his best when the world is flooded with many characters of his mythos. However, with the way that a film works fundamentally, including that many characters is always going to hold the film back. Trying to implement many different plot points and setting up things for the future is going to take away from Peter Parker himself, as the focus is spread too thin. And the perfect example of this was The Amazing Spider-Man 2, as there were many plot lines throughout that film. We felt like narrative aspects such as Harry Osborn and his relationship with Peter Parker was severely underdeveloped due to the inclusion of Electro, or you could see it the other way around. The inclusion of Harry Osborn and the focus with him and Peter Parker took away from what could have made Electro a fantastic villain. However, if The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was a 10 to 20 episode season, I guarantee a lot of people would be praising it as one of the best Spider-Man things to have ever come out. Because all of the plot threads in that movie would have been spread out with the right amount of attention. And you might be saying, well, Lewis, Spider-Man films have worked without a huge amount of characters. Yes, but it is my opinion that Spider-Man works with a significant amount of characters. You see, Spider-Man works in a world where Plant and Payoff works as a main cause of the emotional resolution to the story. And what I mean by that is usually Spider-Man is a part of a storyline where multiple characters or one central antagonist will be built up over a significant amount of time. And I think Spectacular Spider-Man proves why this is true. Right from the get-go, Spectacular Spider-Man included all of Spider-Man's key players and didn't limit the show to just 2 or 3 of them. We had characters such as Norman Osborn, who wouldn't have a payoff until 2 seasons later, yet his relationship with Peter Parker was expanded upon before then to make that relationship pay off well. We also had Eddie Brock, aka Venom, who had a brotherly relationship with Peter Parker, which ended up turning sour and giving us a good emotional resolution when he became Venom. We have Harry Osborn, who unfortunately never actually got his resolution because that would have been paid off in season 3. We had Gwen Stacy, who would have also had the same sort of impact in the 3rd season. We had Otto Octavius, who was introduced in the 1st episode, and we saw him delve into villainy. We also had Dr. Connors, who was also going to get a payoff in a spin-off film in the future. We also had seeds planted of MJ, and in the original plans for the show, we know that she would have gone on to become Peter's girlfriend, and eventually they would have ended up getting married after the initial first 5 seasons of the show would have finished. That emotional payoff with Eddie Brock couldn't have been done in 1 episode. That emotional payoff of Norman Osborn couldn't have been done in 1 episode. It had to have been done over multiple episodes, and in Norman's case, over multiple seasons spanning of 13 20-minute episodes each, where Norman would regularly appear as one of the main or supporting cast members. And like I mentioned, Spider-Man is a character that generally thrives off long-term relationships and long-term payoffs. And this is something that the Amazing Spider-Man movies were actually trying to accomplish. But because the way that a film works, where it fundamentally holds you back from including multiple different characters with multiple different plot lines, meant that the film narratively failed on its own. And while The Amazing Spider-Man 3 might have had a decent payoff to everything they set up in TASM 2, it just meant that TASM 2 was the weak link. On its own, it wasn't a good film. But when do you ever watch 1 episode of a TV series and go, that episode is rubbish, it didn't do anything for the story, and then not watch the next episode after that? No, you watch the next episode until everything gets paid off and realize that that episode was probably more important than you initially realized. But that just doesn't work with films. And what I'm mainly trying to allude to is that Spider-Man himself has so many key players and so many key characters from the comic books that a TV show format for the character works significantly more than it does with a film. And shows such as Spectacular Spider-Man prove this as well. And another Spider-Man show that does this really well is the 90s animated show. It manages to expand multiple storylines once again with the likes of Eddie Brock and Mary Jane over multiple seasons. And due to its expansive nature, we also got many storylines and many episodes featuring Black Cat 2, and many characters that have unable to had their chance to show up in a Spider-Man film before. The living, breathing world of Peter Parker thrives in an environment where he can be expanded upon and the characters around him can also be expanded upon at the same time. Peter Parker's school life and all the characters and his friends around him are significantly important to the story. His home life with Aunt May and Uncle Ben is also very important to the story. Spider-Man's villains and what they mean for the character are also very important to the story as well. Not to mention we have J. Jonah Jameson and those supporting characters too. So there are many characters that can be expanded upon in a TV show that allow Spider-Man's world to live and breathe. And every single one of these characters, including Flash Thompson, Harry Osborn, J. Jonah Jameson, Norman Osborn, Otto Octavius, Dr. Connors, Aunt May, Uncle Ben, every single one of them deserve the screen time and the development to aid and feed Peter Parker's character as a whole. And the only way that you can do that properly is through a TV show format. So forever, will the Spider-Man TV shows be better than the movies? Yes. Yes, they will. And no, not all the movies suck. I was joking, by the way. The movies are great, but Spider-Man TV shows are better, okay? That's when they're done properly. I'm looking at you, Ultimate Spider-Man, okay? They have to be done properly, at least. Either way, that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to check out Atlas VPN in the description down below. Remember, their summer deal ends very, very soon, so you're not going to want to miss that. Make sure to click my referral link in the description down below to get yours today. It is $1.83, which is like £1.50. It's really cheap anyway if you live in the UK. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree with me. Do you think Spider-Man shows are better than movies? And if not, then tell me why. As always, I want to hear all of your thoughts. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care and peace.